So every year in the U.S., there are over 1 million law-abiding citizens that use a firearm to defend themselves and their loved ones. But in 2021, the 5 largest newspapers in America only published 10 stories related to self-defense with a firearm. And they published, the same 5 largest newspapers in America published 1,743 articles with those keywords like murder, shot, those kinds of things. And clearly, politicians and the media don't want us to use firearms. They want to disarm. Many of them want to disarm the populace. We believe, and they're telling us that we believe, at least, that firearms themselves are evil, that they're the problem. And so let's take away the firearms. Let's limit the firearms. Let's put many bans on the firearms. And yet, this has no more moral capacity than a hammer or a knife or any other kind of tool or weapon. And so really, it's the people that are evil. It's not the firearm itself. I love people. I want to defend life. I love liberty. And because of that, I want to be able to use a firearm to defend myself, my family, and others. And a lot of people think, well, that's kind of odd coming from a Christian, or for me, a pastor even. I'm a pastor. And, a lot of people think, well, isn't that odd for a Christian or a pastor to be supportive of the Second Amendment? Well, no. The Sixth Commandment, which may sound odd at first, related to firearms and wanting to use firearms, thou shalt not kill, that's the Sixth Commandment. Yet, the idea is that I want to preserve life, is why I want to carry a firearm. And there's a lot of problems that people have when they use a firearm for self-defense. In the aftermath of that the law, for some reason, tends to be against them. And that's a very disturbing trend. And I think one of the great resources that anybody can have is a membership with USCCA. And I've been a long time, many years, member of USCCA. And not only for their content, the resources they provide, like, the reciprocity map, like their concealed carry magazine, a bunch of resources that are out there, new gun laws, so you're kept up to date on various gun laws in various states, that kind of thing. But also the peace of mind of having access to insurance just in case I'm in a situation where I'm having to use a firearm for self-defense. And so I'll drop a link down below for them, and you can check that out. But really, when it comes to defending yourself in the Sixth Commandment, it's interesting. The Westminster Larger Catechism on the Sixth Commandment, it actually delineates not only the commandment itself, of course, but also those duties required in the Sixth Commandment and also the sins forbidden by the Sixth Commandment. And the duties required are to take whatever action you can to preserve the life of another. And that might mean using force. And the sins forbidden is that when you are able to defend someone else or yourself or your family and you fail to act, in other words, you don't act to preserve that life, then you can be in violation of breaking the Sixth Commandment. So it's interesting to me when I hear Christians say, well, guns are evil. The gun itself is not evil. You shouldn't use weapons at all. Well, you think about all the people in both the Old and New Testaments that use weapons. When a centurion or a soldier became a Christian, he wasn't supposed to just give up his weapons. The disciples carried weapons with them. Of course, they didn't have firearms back there. They had whatever latest weapon that was available to them at the time. Now, Peter, at one point, Apostle Peter, he uses his sword wrongly to cut off an ear. But you get the idea is that Christians and people in the Old Testament certainly used weapons. And so it's not the weapon itself. And I keep hearing this over and over again. Or there's a mass shooting or something and they want to ban assault rifles. It's interesting. 94%, I read this the other day, 94% of mass shootings happen in gun-free zones. 94% of shootings happen in gun-free zones. Think about that for a moment. And the reason is because perpetrators, it's easy targets in a gun-free zone. Let's just disarm the law-abiding citizens and have, these perpetrators have their pick, And people say, well, the police will show up. Well, if the police don't show up for 5-6 minutes at the earliest, to some of these things, then you can do a lot of damage. A bad guy can do a lot of damage in that amount of time. And so what I want to just basically do is just have this conversation. I'm getting frustrated when I keep hearing people say, well, firearms are the problem. No, people are the problem. We have to think about why you have these evil people committing these heinous acts. But I would prefer, and I believe, that a person, a man, should be able to defend himself and defend his family and others, to be a sheepdog in society, to take upon himself that mantle of responsibility, to stand in the gap, to step up and be that provider and protector. So guys, again, I just want to really emphasize the importance of having a resource like USCCA. They're not paying me to say this. I'm saying this of my own accord. But I have partnered with them. So if you do click the link, I get just a few pennies. I mean, nothing for that really. But I would want to really encourage you to check them out and to arm yourself and to be that provider and protector for others. Well, guys, I hope it's been helpful for you today. And if you have other thoughts or questions, comments, please drop those down below. Would love to hear your thoughts on this as well. And I'm sure, there's so much to this discussion that I have not talked about. But thanks so much for your support for us and for our channel. If you've not already done so, please consider that like button and subscribing to the channel. Really appreciate you and your support. We'll see you in the next video.